So I was reading this book about Asperger's syndrome and social relationships, and it's an interesting book. And I'm on a chapter called Social Relationships and Social Inclinations. Um, and every chapter in this book is written by someone with Asperger's syndrome that speaks about a topic that they think is relevant to talk about this condition. Um, It could be about eye contact, it could be about sensory issues, it could be about social relationships or work or strategies that they have used to try to make their lives easier and better with these difficulties. And in this chapter of social relationships and social inclinations by someone called Alexandra Brown, um, I really thought that this is really interesting, so I wanted to share a few things with you. Um, so this person writes about her experiences as an autistic kid, both as a child, as an adult, as a teenager, and she shares many of her experiences and difficulties that she had, and most of what she says it's exactly the same as what I experienced both as a child, as when I went to college, as an adult now in the work field, as a teenager in school, and so forth. So um, I don't think I can show the book exactly, but you can see that I have a lot of things highlighted. And I will be reading a few of these passages, and I will be interpreting them according to my own experience. So the first thing that I have here pointed is she says people seem to be very unpredictable, um, especially if they have been drinking. Yes. Um, in general, people seem to be unpredictable to me too, for many reasons. I don't really understand, for example, and she speaks about this in other passages. Um, there are a few things as social rules and social norms that don't seem to me to make a lot of sense, and she will mention a few of them later. For example, when people have finished having dinner or lunch and they just sit around in the table, pretty much just doing small talk. I don't like this, and I usually, when in family contexts, I usually just leave. Usually, I greet everyone and I tell them like I have to go study something, or I'm going for a walk with a friend, or I have something to do at home, and then I just leave because it gets so awkward, and I don't care about the social chit chat. It's not interesting to me at all, and it makes me feel very awkward to just be sitting down like this, hearing to someone tell some story that I don't understand really. It's kind of nonsense to me. Um, about the people being drunk, yeah, I mean, people usually are already hard to read, both because I don't usually make eye contact with them, and because our interests are usually very disparate, very diverse. Mine are usually not very my special interests, the topics that I like to talk about, even though I have many of them. Unfortunately, they're all very specific. So no one wants to talk about religion, no one wants to talk about philosophy, no one wants to talk about animals, no one wants to talk about anthropology or psychology or sociology or what more, um, anatomy, neuroscience. So even though I have a lot of topics of interest, it's kind of difficult to talk to people, so I'm forced to do small talk because, well, unless I'm in a very specific context with a very specific person, they're not going to want to talk about these topics, and that's okay, I guess. Um, but yeah, people are usually unpredictable and difficult to read, both probably because of my. I'm pretty sure I have a little bit of alexithymia, which means I have a hard time both understanding my own emotions as understanding someone else's emotions, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and that really complicates things. Another thing that she mentions is that it's difficult to know when people have finished talking. This is this goes directly to the point of the family table chit chat. This is really difficult to me too. I don't know when people have finished talking. I really don't. It seems like people just talk, and then if they remember something, they just do it again and then again and then again. It's kind of difficult. It's not like in music when you have a tempo and you know that there's a pause here. If you're not in music and if you don't have any music practice or if you don't know the theory of music, um, yeah, it's probably going to be a bad analogy to you, but in music you have compasses that you have to wait, and you know that because it's written there. And you wait one tempo and then you can continue playing. With social conversations, it doesn't work this way, and some people just seem to talk almost for an indefinite period of time, and then you don't know when you can join or if you can join. And she talks about that too. That it's difficult to know when people are to know when people are finished talking. Sometimes I think I have something relevant to say, but I don't know the point on which I can join in, and she's absolutely right. And I think that too. It's a difficulty that I have. It's often time I have something to say about, I don't know, any kind of conversation that people are having, but because especially in larger groups, maybe of 3 to 4 people, it becomes difficult because especially if everyone is like enthusiastic about the topic, everyone wants to jump in the conversation, and it's like a ping pong ball. It's just zzz, it just continues going back and forth, and you never know if you can, when it's your time to speak, if there is a time to speak. And you don't know if the people are like going to appreciate that you spoke about the topic, because it does happen before that my topic, um, my opinion could very well not be welcome because I have some opinions that are strong about some topics, and even if I'm not trying to make a point about anything, it can be awkward to just jump in the conversation without knowing when to do it, especially when it's jumping back and forth between 3 or 4 people. It's kind of difficult to know when you can do it. And then she says something that is very. I've actually talked about this with my friend Sebastian, that has been on this channel before. Um, I would be talking about something and everyone would suddenly start talking over me and ignoring me. They would even do this as soon as I started talking. This is true. Like, this happens all the time. I'm trying to say something, I'm trying to make a point or trying to give my opinion even, and someone just cuts the conversation, moves on to something else, or gives their opinion. Like, why? It's so stupid. Like, I already have a difficulty with my tone of voice and my volume. I usually speak in a lower volume. Um, and it's really annoying to just get cut off immediately and then move. I don't know if this happens to, like, if it's a normal thing that happens with neurotypical people. For example, when Sebastian and I are talking, or me and another friend of mine, I'm not going to cut them off unless like they're saying something like that it's a huge mistake, or that they interpreted something that I said in a completely different way. Like, for the sake of time management and timekeeping, I'm not going to like let you speak for 2 or 3 minutes on a subject that I didn't really mean it that way. It would be a waste of time. So I'm going to cut you off there and say, look, no, that's not what I really meant. I meant this. Just so that we don't spend 2 or 3 minutes talking about something that I didn't actually say. But this happens a lot with neurotypical people, of them just cutting off conversations out of nowhere and then moving on. I think it's lack of being polite, I don't know. Um, Another thing that she says is, when I had a friend, I tended to have one friend at a time. It was always the person it was always the person of circumstance that brought out the friendship to an end. That is absolutely true. I don't think I have ever ended a relationship by myself. Like, that I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I am very selective with the friends that I make, especially because, well, if you want to be my friend, you already are a little bit different than the norm, I think, because that means you are usually interested in another level of conversation that is not social chit chat. So the fact alone that you want to be a friend of mine already shows me that you are a little bit different than the average person, because most people that I talk to, I have either no interest of being friends with, and they have no interest of being friends with me, and that's absolutely okay. I'm not one of those people that demands to have like dozens of. I no, I have one friend at a time, maybe two, at a time at most, and that already takes a large chunk of my time and my energy just to manage those relationships and spending time with them and stuff like that. For example, at the time, I think I only have one friend at the time. I have people that I can talk to online if I want to, or I have people that I can send a message and maybe they'll reply, but they're not really friends. They're just people that maybe I used to hang out with a few years ago, but they're not really friends. I don't consider them friends. I consider them just people that I know. But here, this is really annoying, and this has happened with me at least 3 or 4 times. That is people that I consider to be really good friends just stop being friends for no reason, out of nowhere, for the weirdest, strangest situation. It's so weird. For example, and remember, this has happened a few times, so I'm kind of convinced that this has influenced my avoidant personality in some way or another. I'm going to tell you a story. For example, when I was about 11 or 12, I used to live in another home, and it was a really nice neighborhood. It's so nice that I usually go there with Sebastian for a walk. We went there yesterday night. And it was like this neighborhood. It had a park in the front of the neighborhood. It was like a very plain field. It was like 1 kilometer. It was like 1 kilometer squared. It was really nice. With houses and kids, and so when I lived there about, I don't know, like 14 years ago, I was friend with usually just two other people there, a boy and a girl. And the boy, or three, two boys and one girl. And the boy that I used to be best friends with, um, we used to go like to each other's houses, and we played video games, and we played football, and we rode bikes and walked and talked and all of that. So we were kind of best friends. And this is true out of nowhere. And I really mean out of nowhere. For example, everything is okay today, and you go for a walk and you talk as if it's everything normal, and then tomorrow he won't talk to you ever again for like 15 years. And I never understood why. Like, it's really stupid. I really don't understand if I did anything or not. It's like everything is okay, and out of nowhere they disappear. And you never understood why. And I really never understood why. So it's so stupid. Like, I still remember um, going to that friend's house and ringing the doorbell and asking his mother, like, oh, can he come, like, play football, or can he come for a walk or something? And I still remember, I think, his mother saying, oh, he doesn't want to. And I said, oh, okay, like, okay, that's okay. Doesn't want to today, but maybe tomorrow. And the next day didn't want, and the next day didn't want, and like 15 years or 14 years have passed. And like, out of nowhere, you are best friends with someone, they just disappear. So this is so weird. It's like one of those situations that really, I think it kind of traumatized me, because it's so fucking weird. To it, it's almost like losing a family member, like to sudden death or something like that. Something that is so unexpected. Like, one day they are smiling and laughing, and then the other day they're dead. Like, it's kind of, it's so fucking weird. And this has happened to me a few times. So I'm pretty sure that this has contributed um, in some way or another to my avoidant personality of being like very cautious with my friendships and the people that I'm interested to and people that I want to talk about that I want to talk to. Um, so it's very strange. But this has happened a few times. For example, another time. I know that I'm wasting a lot of time here, but I really want you to understand just how fucking weird this is. Another time, I made friends with someone in high school, and we were friends for like 3 or 4 years. So 10th, 11th, 12th, and then the first year of university, of college. And we were really good friends. And then in college, he did something that was so stupid that I really like lost my patience with him. So it was really, 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 really stupid. Like anyone would be mad under those circumstances. I don't blame myself at all. Um, I'm going to tell you because you have this is fucking insane to me. For example, I used to live in a house that was shared by like 6 other people. Everyone had their room because our city is very old. The city that I used to go to college in, it had like really big old houses full of rooms. So those rooms would be rented out to students, and it had like 6 rooms. So I had one room, and there were other 5 people that had other rooms, and there was like a dispute, a discussion between people in different rooms, and the ambient was really chaotic, and even the police was called and stuff like that. And I was like, "Ah, I don't want to spend the night here, like in my room, because it's so weird. I don't want to be like in the middle of a fight or in the middle of a mess or something like that." So I asked my friend, "Look, can I go and sleep at your house tonight? Because I really don't want to be in the middle of whatever mess is going on in my house now." And he said, "Yeah, sure, come. Like that's okay." He was aware of the situation, so he was very welcoming at the time. And so I said, "Oh, nice, thanks." Um, and I think I had like a test the next day or something like that. I had something important to do the next day, so it was kind of important for me to sleep relatively well. And I told him that. So he left the house, his house, um, at like 8 p.m. Um, to go out with some friends, and he went to a disco, he went to a club and stuff like that. And he asked me like, "Oh, do you want me to lend you my keys to the house?" He asked me if I wanted to keep his keys, and I said, "No, no, it's your keys. Like I don't want to have your keys. That would be weird for me. Like even though we are friends, it's still your house. I don't want to be there when you're not there. So I'll just hang around. It's fine. Like I go have dinner somewhere. I'll go to the library. I'll study something." What I never anticipated was that he would leave the house at 8 p.m. or 9 or something like that to go out with other friends, and he would only return at like 5 a.m. Like, do you understand how long that is? Like, he kept me waiting outside. Remember, because I didn't want to go home, and I didn't have the key at that time to go to my own room. So I couldn't go back to my room in my other house. And I couldn't go to his house because he had the keys. Because I had told him that I would be uncomfortable with having the keys to his room. So I spent like, we can do the math, it would be about 9 hours or 8 hours outside. It was like September or November. It was cold as fuck. And it was kind of raining too, I remember. So I waited for him in my car for like 4 hours while I was trying to sleep in my car because he left to go partying with some friends. Like, this is insane. Mind you, this is not someone who usually does this. Like, I'm not naive, I'm not crazy, I don't get along with people that are kind of messed up in. No, I'm, as I said, I try to be very particular with the friends I make, with the friends that I make, specifically so that I don't have to end up in weird, confusing situations like this. But this person like changed in college or something. I really don't know, because this is really not the kind of behavior that he would do. He was extremely introverted, much more anxious than introverted that I ever was in high school. And suddenly, he found a few group of friends of girls, and he went partying, and then he almost felt like he didn't have permission to come and like open the door of his house to me, because he was partying with his friends. So he didn't feel like he could leave them to come and open the door for me or something like that. He then explained it to me like that. And when he finally arrived, I was so fucking angry with him. I was extremely pissed, as anyone would. Like, he literally kind of abandoned me, knowing that I had no house to go to, no place to sleep in, that it was raining and cold, and he forced me to kind of have to sleep in my car for 4 hours, trying to sleep in my car. Cold as fuck, while he was partying at a club. And then my phone battery died, of course, so I had no way of contacting him anymore. I sent him a message and called him and telling him what was going on and everything. And then he appeared at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning. And obviously I was extremely angry with him, and I called him childish, and he said, "You're a child, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how can you do this to me? Like, I told you, like, I have no place to sleep in tonight, and you said that you would let me sleep here. And you only come home at 5 a.m., knowing that I don't have the key, knowing that I have no place to go to. Like, what is this? Seriously, some people are. This is. I would never dream of doing this to anyone. So, immediately I've cut that friendship. But as I said in the beginning, I never cut a friendship entirely. I haven't done that in my entire life. I have screamed at my friends for doing stupid shit. And this would be the best, like, occasion for me to just cut off that relationship with that person, because that was insane. Like, making your friend wait for like from 9 p.m. to like 5 a.m. in the cold. This is insane. This is not a person that respects you. And I understood that, but I also know that he has an extreme case of anxiety, and he was actually kind of suicidal before and depressed. So I was kind of afraid that he would spiral down again. And because this is something that is completely like incoherent with his personality. A few weeks later, after this incident happened, a few weeks later, I tried to kind of talk to him and make peace, or at least attempt to. So I asked him out, like, hey, I sent him a message like, hey, do you want to go eat pizza at that place near your house that we've been talking about going sometime? And I don't remember if he answered me or not. I think he said something like, oh, I'm busy. And I said, oh, okay, then we'll try going some other time. And then we never talked again. And this was back in like 2020, maybe. So it was like 6 years ago, or 5 years and something ago. Like, some people just blow my mind with the kind of things they do. So he ruined a perfectly good relationship just so that he could hang out with some friends that he had made like 2 months ago. From that point, like 2 months ago, that he had met in college. He completely forgot about me. His best friend at the time, for sure I was his best friend at the time. A friend for like 4 years. And he just fucked off and went to a club for 8 hours or 7 or something. And even though I should have been mad up to him like forever, and I should have cut the ties with him, I understood like this is not really who this person is. I have known him for long enough to know that this person is not an evil person. He's not a narcissist. He's not a sociopath. He's a good person. He just really fucked up, and maybe his anxiety really did prevent him from leaving that group and coming to me. Or so I wanted, like, to try to rationalize it. So even though I had every reason possible to not want to make peace with this person, I still tried to fix our relationship and go eat pizza with him. And he didn't want to. And then he never tried reaching out to me the same way I did to him. So this has always been my experience with relationships and friendships. People do like insane things and then they leave as if you are the problem. Like, they do the most sociopathic things possible and then they leave. You are the one who has like all the reasons to be fucking upset and angry and shouting at them. But because they behave like children, they leave and think that they are the ones in the right. I don't know if he thought that he was the one in the right, but it doesn't really matter to me. This is insane. And this is just two situations, but I will tell you the third one because it happened just a few months ago. So the third one is, it happened like 8 or 9 months ago. So I have talked about this one in the past in this channel, at least once or twice. So I do part-time, I work part-time as a cashier near my house, at a company that is a very big company, and I work part-time at the weekends, like 5 hours Saturday, 5 hours Sunday. And there are other people, usually people work part-time. There are people like me who are studying in college and they just want to make a few bucks so to help them in college and stuff like that. So usually the people who work there part-time are young, like me. And there was this girl, and I've been working there for like this year. I think in September it will be 4 years. So I've been working there for like 3 years and 8 months or something like that. And last year, a girl that used to work as a cashier, she left a month ago or 2 weeks ago. A girl that I have been passing by and never really talked to because I am very rigid. I am working. I am not there to make friends. I am there to work. I am very rigid in the situations, in the context that I'm in. Even though like it's strange to me that neurotypicals feel so at ease to just talk in the middle of the hallway, knowing that there are cameras watching them, knowing that there are supervisors watching them, knowing that the boss can be there and they're not going to like that. It's kind of weird to me that they just can like shut down the environment that they're in and just start talking in the middle of the hallway. Like, they're not supposed to be working. I can't do that, so I have a hard time making friends at work because I'm kind of professional, I guess. So again, this girl that has been working there with me last year, that was when this happened, for like 2.5 years, 3 years, that we have never really talked to one another, suddenly kind of texts me, asking me out to go for a coffee. And I say, sure, okay, let's go for a coffee. And then we start talking, and she was nice. She was an interesting person. And she tells me like, oh, I broke up with my boyfriend yesterday. And immediately, to me, that was so weird. Like, you broke up with your boyfriend yesterday, and you are already asking me out to go for a coffee with you? Someone you don't know anything about, because we have never talked before, not really. And you are already asking me out for a coffee. And my rationale was, well, maybe this person needs some kind of emotional help. But even so, you don't go to a stranger for that, you go to your friends. I guess. I'm trying to be logical but anyway. So we talked and we like talking to one another, and we went our separate ways. We went for a walk and then we went to our separate ways. And then we started seeing each other again, like very, 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 very frequently. Almost every day. She would come study at my house here because we had exams to in the summer holidays. We had both exams, and she would come to my house and we would study. We'd spend more time talking, and I taught her chess, so we spent more time playing chess and talking than actually studying. But anyway, and then imagine this happening to you when out of nowhere, like there is this girl that is kind of a stranger because you don't know her from outside of work, you never talk to her, and she just keeps appearing and keeps sending you messages and calling you, and every time she has a really kind of important problem, she calls you for emotional support, and you are always there for her. And this continues happening for like a month and a half, almost every day at my house, playing chess, talking, like sharing some really sometimes personal information about one another, stories and stuff like that, um, for like a month and a half. There were days where we were together like 8 hours. Do you understand this? This is a full time job almost. I'm not saying that this happened, 8 hours didn't happen maybe a lot. It happened, the average was probably like 5 hours a day, which is a lot. Fuck, it's so much time. Anyway, um, we were continuing to talk like for months. And then the our classes started again in college, and we hanged out with another guy that used to be at the company. I know that this is kind of getting boring, but I'm getting somewhere. Um, and we were really good friends. Like we were such good friends, and we saw each other so often and so frequently. And because I have a hard time like reading emotions, other people's emotions, and eye contact, I trained eye contact with that person, something that I'd never done to anyone. I asked her if I could, that I'm really bad at I told her that I have autism. I told them about ADHD, which she also has ADHD. That was one of the things that kind of connected us. And she said, "Oh yeah, it's okay. You can train eye contact with me. We can talk about like anything." And this girl was had a really big. She had a few problems, but she had a really big problem with like timetables. She would tell me, for example, "Oh, I will be there tomorrow to study at your house at like 10 a.m." And then she would not appear, or she would send me a message at like 11 or 12 midday, saying, "Oh, sorry, like I went out last night and I kind of got drunk and I wasn't ready to go to study with you at 10 a.m., but I will be ready at like 2 p.m." And then she would appear at like 2:30, 2:35, 3. So you can see what's going on here, right? Like she can't keep a timetable. She can't do plans with anyone. And this started to bother me because we were spending a lot of time together, and I kind of needed to know because I have medication to take when I want to study. And the medication only lasts about like 6 hours. So I need to be very precise when I take the medication, if it's going to be for studying or not, and if it's going to be in the morning or in the afternoon, because that really matters, you know. Um, and it's the same medication that she takes, so she has no reason to be upset about anything because she knows. Um, so this pattern of like not keeping up with timetables and being late and being like unstable and chaotic really fucking bothers me because I'm autistic. I need structure. Also, she's coming to my house, so it's kind of polite to, like tell your friends something when something comes up, or if you can't come, or because it's not your house and someone is kind of expecting you, but that's okay. So I keep telling her, like, look, I'm not liking this, I don't like these, like, insecurity of not knowing when if you're going to appear or not, if you're going to come at 9 or 10 or 2 p.m. or if you're going to appear at night or if you don't know or if you have something to do, I would rather that you would tell me so that I would know instead of making plans like out of the blue. I would prefer that you told me so that I would be ready or not for you and know if I could start studying or if I could take the medication or because it kind of depends because the medication does kind of alter my personality too. I become like even more expressionless and more rigid and cold. So it does matter when you are with someone else if I take the medication or not, you know. And this continued to happen, even though I told her, look, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. You need to be more conscious, you need to be more aware, you need to be more responsible with the time because you are making plans with me. It doesn't matter if I'm autistic or not, you're still making plans with another person, so keep the timetable, for fuck's sake. And this kept happening. And I got to the point where I was like, this is starting to bother me. And then one night, like 8 months ago, I remember it was September 29th, 2025. I still remember, I think. She asked me out to go out with her at night. She said, look, are you going to be free tonight? And I said, yeah, I think I'm going to be free tonight, but I kind of want to get up early tomorrow. This was 9 months ago or something. Oh, okay. Remember, she was the one asking me out, so she's the one who has to be aware of her fucking plans. She said, oh, I have something to do. She didn't explain what it was. She doesn't have to explain, but you will see. I have something to do, but then I'll tell you later if I'm available or not, which is already nuts. Like, what do you mean if you are available? You are the one who reached out to me. You are the one who asked me out. Are you going to be available or not? Like, what is this? You want to do everything in one night? You want to hang out with your friends, drink, be drunk, and then, if possible, spend time with me? I'm not your spare tire. Like, so I said, okay, sure. But at least do tell me something. Like, if you see that you can't make it, at least do tell me. And you can guess that it was like 2 a.m. and she hadn't told me anything. So she reached out to me at like 9 or 10 p.m. And these plans of her took like 4 hours and a half. If you have plans with friends, with other friends, why make a plan that coincides with the plans that you already have? You don't have the gift of ubiquity. You can't be in these two places at the same time. Like, I don't understand this logic. Like, neurotypicals, and she isn't really a neurotypical because she has ADHD, but some people are so irrational and unreasonable. They just create mistakes and problems for themselves and others for no reason at all. Like, if you already have plans, do you really, like, make other plans on top of the plans that you already have? Isn't it obvious that it's going to, like, fall apart and someone's going to be upset? So, at 2 a.m. I said, look, this isn't working. Like, I was already pissed at that time. Look, you made plans with me. You can't keep plans. This isn't the first time. This is like the 5th or 6th time that this has happened. Why did you make plans with me, knowing that you already had plans to go out with friends? This makes no sense. And she said, what really kind of pissed me off in that situation was that she had apologized before. So I was kind of expecting an apology, because this is clearly her fault. But she didn't apologize. She said something like, oh, I'm too drunk, now I can't fix anything. Like, I'm too drunk at this point in time, I can't fix anything now. And I said, but you are drinking? You were like, was it supposed, you were going to come visit me or hang out with me drunk? What makes you think that I want to be around you when you're drunk? I don't want to be around anyone when they're drunk. Like, this was the last drop for me. And I said, look, I'm really going to show you. If you are not able to understand, I texted her this. If you're not able to understand just how stupid this plan is, I'm going to make you understand. You and I are going to hang out tonight, still. We are going to keep the plan that you had promised me. I don't care if it's 2 a.m., I don't care if it's cold, I don't care if it's raining, I don't care if you're drunk, I don't care if you're tired. Let's hang out. I want you to see just how impossible this plan is to keep. I want you to try to keep the plan that you promised me. And she said, she then didn't answer anymore because she went to sleep because she was drunk. Guess what? We never spoke again. Or it's actually worse than that because in the next day, she texted me and she was like, oh, but I told you that I had plans. And I said, yes, but those plans didn't involve you texting me at 2:30 and 2:30 a.m., nor do they involve you being drunk. And if you are, and again, if you already had plans, why did you choose to make other plans with me at the same time that you already had plans? Obviously, one of those two isn't going to come to fruition because you can't be at two places at the same time. So you chose to hang out with your friends, which is okay, that's fine, that's not my problem. But you chose to be drunk. You chose to not tell me that you already had plans that were going to take all night. You faked availability, being available. And you were the one who invited me out in the first place. So, what happened? And she didn't apologize for some reason. Oh, but you agreed with this term. No, I didn't. You never told me that you were going to be drunk. You never told me that it was going to be until 2:30. You never told me that you already had plans. You never told me all of these things. So, and then we decided to meet face to face near her house at her place. And I was so pissed off. Like I screamed at her and I said, "Oh, you're a child. You're childish. Like you've done this before. I have already told you like that I can't deal with this. Like you have to be more precise with your plans. And if you already had plans, why did you make plans with me, knowing that you weren't going to be able? Why did you fake availability? Why did you even reach out to me? If you already had plans, why did you text me asking me if I were free? Just do that tomorrow when you don't have plans or something. Why were you were so drunk that you weren't even capable of holding a conversation with me by texting, and you wanted to hang out with me at 2:30 a.m. after being drunk, after hanging out, after. And she didn't like that, and she left, and then I left too. Like, I was really aggressive with her, like, verbally aggressive. I called her a child, I said. I was pissed off, because remember, this had been, by that time, like 3.5 months of chaos. I was fucking upset and was mad at her. But this was a person that I really liked, and she liked me too, I think. And for, like, the next, like, 6 months, you can imagine how weird it was. Working part-time at the weekends with someone that you used to be like incredible friends. So much so that like people around us, other friends and people from work, thought that we were dating. I was confused about that too. Like our relationship was super weird. It was like super intense, but it wasn't. It didn't have a name. I guess you can call it like a situationship or something like that. I don't know. But I guess I'm just making this video so long because I kind of need to talk about just how insane some of my experiences with people have been. And a week later, after our discussion, and after I screamed at her and said a few things that I probably shouldn't have, um, I wrote her a letter by hand. Like, no one does this anymore. When I told her, look, I'm sorry I screamed at you. I'm sorry that I said some of the things that I told you, but I really need you to understand that you you caused this. I have been warning you for months that I don't like this instability. I've been telling you for months that it feels like I'm being used sometimes. And she answered back like, "Oh, thank you for the letter and thank you for the photos," because I sent her a few photos of actual photos in the letter of our dogs playing and stuff, like just kind of reminding her that we had been through some good times. And oh, thank you for the letter and thank you for the photos. But I can't admit, this is her words, I can't admit that someone talks to me like that, someone would scream at me and tell me the things that you did. And I'm just sitting there reading this thinking, do you not remember what you've done for the past 3.5 months? Like, do you not remember me telling you that I don't like being treated this way? That I need stability, that I'm autistic, that even though I'm not like the most severe form of autism, I still need regulation, I still need structure. And I've been warning you for months. So we never talked again. So you pass from almost being like in a, how do you call it? A relationship, like a couple's relationship, kind of, to the point where everyone thought that we were dating. So we went from an extremely like powerful relationship, almost in no time at all, to never talking again. Simply because she messed up, and because she was upset that I screamed at her for messing up. Like, this is what I'm saying, like, people are so insane. People are really childish sometimes. Oftentimes, I would say. Um, so yeah, this is kind of the reason why I think I'm an avoidant personality. Because of some of these experiences of not, like, trusting people, and because really, do you have, like, reasons to trust people at this point? Like, can you even blame me for not trusting them, or for kind of trying to keep my distance first? I don't think anyone can. But it's so weird. Like, neurotypicals are so strange, man. Like, I would never dream of doing stuff like this to anyone. Any of these three relationships. There are other things in this book um, that are worth talking about. They're usually all about, at least this chapter is about social relationships and social inclination. Um, I can continue like reading a few passages and give you my opinion or some of my experiences, but I was reading this chapter and I was really like, man, I have been through all of this. This is really like an autistic person talking to another autistic person, like through written words. And I don't know, man. I haven't made a video in a while, and I thought that it would be a good opportunity to just kind of share a few of my difficulties and experiences as an autistic person. Sorry that the video is is really big, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. See you.